glam dolls, back to my channel. So today's a little story time for you guys about my pregnancies. Welcome my glam dolls back to my channel. So today's a little story time. So grab your snacks, grab your beer, grab your chips, grab your candy, grab your juice if you can't drink beer, grab your wine, girls. Because this one's gonna be a little juicy, you know. So I did do a poll on my Instagram asking what you guys wanted to see. I chose between my fights and my pregnancy. My pregnancy won on my family Instagram and my fights won on my makeup Instagram. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna upload this one today about my pregnancy, and then for my fights video, it's gonna go up next week for you guys. So Juan and I met in December of 2016. So everything with him happened really fast. Like being pregnant with Nevaeh was like bam. So mind you, in 2016 I was 20 turning 21 the 12th of December. So we met like just the week before, or no, 2 weeks before, like the beginning of December. And the 9th is the day I actually got pregnant. So I did take a plan B because I didn't want to take the chances that I was pregnant. I wasn't ready. I was out there partying, I was out there drinking, I was just doing my thing, like with no attachments. Like I was making money and I was hanging around with my girls, like just, you know, focusing on me. And it was the 31st, I believe, because I always get my period at the end of the month, and I was like, okay, it's past the 25th already, so this can't be happening. And in my head I was like, maybe I'm just like tricking my body out to think that I am pregnant. And the 31st, I called my homegirls and I was like, hey, like how soon do you take a pregnancy test? And they're like, oh, 2 weeks after your missed period. And I was like, dude, like I'm freaking out. And they were like, let's just go get a test and see if it'll tell you anything. And I was like, all right, cool. And I was just praying and praying and praying, like, God, don't do me like this. Like, let my body think, like, let my body just like, nah. In my head I was like, nah, like so I took them, and 2 of them came out positive and 1 came out negative. So I was like, you know, like what if I am, or what if I'm not, and I'm over here fucking tripping for no reason. So my friends were like, why don't you just go to the clinic tomorrow and see if they could tell you anything. And I was like, all right. So I called my comadre and I was like, hey, you want to go with me to the clinic? And she was like, yeah, dude, like let me just get the baby ready and we'll go. So I went and got her, and then we went to the clinic and they were like, yeah, you're positive, and they gave me this paper, my due date. So Nevaeh was supposed to be born the 4th of September. And I was like, oh shit, like fuck, how am I supposed to tell everybody? Dad, like I told my dad, like I was nervous, and he could tell I was nervous because I laugh when I'm nervous. And he was like, what do you have to tell me? And I just showed him the paper, and he was like, at first he didn't say shit, like he just sat there like quiet. And I was like, dude, like I just disappointed my dad. And my dad's like really understanding when it comes to certain things. And the first thing he said was like, what do you plan on doing? I told him like, I'm gonna keep it, like I'm not gonna be one of those to abort. I was like, I knew the consequences of having sex without a condom or any type of protection. So he was like, well, I need to talk to him. And I was like, okay. Like my dad already knew who he was because he met him around my birthday weekend, because I invited him bowling with us and he didn't go, but he invited me to go drink with his friends. And I went and introduced my dad to him when he picked me up. And so yeah, so we didn't know, Juan and I didn't know what we were. And like I invited him for New Year's to spend it with us, and he was like, oh, I'm not really drunk, like I'm with my family. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, so everybody, because my dad has a girlfriend, so everybody at her family's house was like, oh, why aren't you drinking, like blah blah blah. And I was like, you know, I'm good, like, and I didn't want to say nothing, and my dad was like, oh, I'm gonna be a grandpa, and then like, so everybody knew that, you know, I was pregnant, so I was like, whatever. So I did tell my mom, and my mom chewed me out for it, because she's like, you're not ready, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so a couple months happened, and then my dad, no, it was like 2 weeks, not even a couple months, my dumb ass. So a couple weeks after, he told me to invite Juan so he could talk to him, and I was like, yeah, I'm like, whatever. So I invite Juan, and my dad asked him, like, what are you guys gonna do about it? He was like, well, I want to live with her, and I want to change for her, because I want to be there for my baby, since I know that like, my other baby mamas aren't letting me around my kids. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh damn, like, I got this good ass guy, like, he wants to be with me or whatever. And so yeah, so we were good, and then we were living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and my dad was like, well, if you guys want to stay with us, we'll get a bigger apartment, and then, you know, you guys could just help us with rent and what you guys like eat and stuff, and then you guys could start saving so you could get on your feet and, like, you know, move out. And I was like, all right. So my dad allowed him to move in with us, and like, it was March. Like, I was going through it by myself, and it was getting like to the point where I was getting depressed. Like, I would just lay in the bed and cry, and then my dad's girlfriend would be like, oh, like, you don't want to go with your dad, like, and I was like, no, like, I'm gonna wait for Juan to get home. And she was like, okay, and like, she would go drive, and I would have to wait till 3 o'clock when Juan decided he wanted to come home. So I was 8 months pregnant, and one day, like, so everything just went downhill with us. Like, this is when I found out he cheated on me, and when I found out he cheated on me and who he cheated on me with, my heart was broken. Like, I remember that day exactly, because he came home, like, I was about to go to work, so it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. And he came home, and he was all fucked up, and he was telling me, like, oh, I fell asleep at my aunt's house. And I was like, okay, like, why'd you turn off your phone? And then all of a sudden turn back on. And he was like, oh, it's just, like, pretty charged and whatever. So my gut was already telling me, like, bitch, you're stupid if you believe that shit. Like, he cheated on you. And later that day, he was like, oh, I'm gonna go pick up my check, and I'll be back home later. And I got home, because that's when they forced us to do overtime. So I got home like at 6, almost 7, and he wasn't there. And I was like, yo, you're gonna come home like right now, because everybody's leaving and I don't want to be by myself. And he was like, oh, I'm not going home right now. And him and I just got into a really big fight, and I grabbed his shit, and I was like, I'm taking it to your fucking mom's. Like, I'm done. Like, you're not gonna keep doing this to me. And he was like, all right, take it to my mom. And that's when I started crying. Like, I broke down, and I was like, I don't want to live anymore. Like, I started crying, like, really, really, really bad. And my dad came in the room, and that's when my dad texted him. He was like, if you don't want to be with her anymore, just tell me, so I could tell her. And sorry guys, I'm getting teary-eyed, because I remember crying to him on the phone, telling him, like, how could you do this to me? Like, you know, I really love you. Like, we're having a baby. And I was heartbroken. Like, my family knew I was heartbroken. My close friends knew I was heartbroken. And like it was hard for me. And, you know, a couple days went by, and I found out he moved in with her. And, you know, so the first night that I came back, I didn't go straight home. Like, Juan and I came over here, and we went to stay at his cousin's house. And that's the day we conceived Luciano. I was on the pill, but I think I missed it that day, or the pill just sucked ass. I don't remember, because, like, with everything that was going on, like, I went to my house the next day, and in my head I was like, God, like, I knew, like, God, please do not let me be pregnant. Like, no, not another one. And so again, it was towards the beginnings of February, like the second week, and I was like I already missed my period. Like I was like, you know, sorry. I was like, oh, I'm pregnant. Like, fuck, like I'm pregnant. So I bought the ones that come with 3 tests, and I took all 3, and all 3. No, I took one day, and it said pregnant, and I was like, I'm gonna take another one tomorrow. Took another one, it said pregnant, and I was like, I'm pregnant, like. And I told Juan, and Juan was like, you know, like, I'm not ready for another kid, like, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm not either. Like, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, because I want you guys to know the truth. With Luciano, I did think about abortion, because I didn't want to be a single mom. Like, I didn't want to be a single mom of 2. I didn't want to go through all that depression, the postpartum depression again. I didn't want to go through depression at all. Or like Juan not being there, like he wasn't for Nevaeh, the emergency room, and I got a pregnancy test done, and you know, they checked everything, and yeah, I was pregnant, and he was supposed to be born October 31st. Well, Halloween. He was supposed to be born on Halloween, and I didn't know like where to go this time, because I didn't really like I didn't like Banner Estrella where I had Nevaeh, because Nevaeh was born with her umbilical cord wrapped around her neck. And so my mom wasn't gonna make it, but she was like, we're still gonna go because I still want to meet him and blah blah. So we got there, like we got into the labor room, and my dad came to pick up Nevaeh, and then they were like, oh, you're stuck at 8 centimeters, like you're not moving from here, and the contractions were getting worse, and I was like, fuck, like these contractions hurt so much worse for Luciano than they did Nevaeh. I don't know why, because he was a boy or whatnot, but they hurt worse, and I didn't want to get the epidural because of all the side effects. I was like, nope, another one. I did Nevaeh, I'm gonna do this one. So my stomach was like, oh, I can't even explain it. It feels like I can't explain it. Like, it fucking hurt, like, and I was stuck at 8, and so they were like, they gave me this one thing, I don't remember what it was called, to like try and get me to like get more contractions, like seguidos, and so yeah, like they gave me that, and then I was still stuck. I was stuck at 9 for like 3 hours, and my stomach was hurting, and she was like, you can't get the epidural now, and I was like, I don't want it anyways, like I'm gonna do it, because at first I was doing fine. When I was 7 centimeters, like my contractions weren't hurting. Like I would just like squint my eyes and like get into my own space, and they would pass, and I'd be like, all right, like I'm fine. Then when they started getting closer and closer, like they were hurting, and I wasn't screaming, but I was still like trying, and I'd be like praying to God, like give me like 10 minutes without a contraction, just give me 10 minutes, and like nope, they were coming closer and closer. They were like 2 to 3 minutes apart. And then she was like, okay, like when you're ready to push, it's gonna feel like you have to shit. And I was like, you know, like I know I had a baby already, and so it took me 2 times where I thought he was coming, for him to actually come. So the 3rd time was the charm. So I was using Juan's hand, and I was pushing, and like it hurt so bad, like I can't even explain it. Like, so he got stuck, his shoulders got stuck, and I was like, oh shit. And she's like, you have to push now, you have to push now. And I couldn't, like, I couldn't push no more. Like, he was 9 pounds and 12 ounces. So to me, he was huge compared to Nevaeh. Like, and Nevaeh was 8 pounds. And I can't remember how many ounces, but he was 9 pounds, 17 ounces actually. I think Nevaeh was 8'12", and he was 9'17". So he got stuck, and the doctor was like, you have to push now, you have to push now. Like, you have to push. And Juan, like, I couldn't. I was like, I can't. And Juan was like, you have to fucking push. And I was like I kind of freaked out, and I was pushing, and you know, I pushed so hard, I shitted on my poor son. So it's a funny story to tell now, but right then I was like it was so much force, and I wasn't eating those couple weeks. So I was like, how did I even shit? Like, what? Everything that possibly could have gone wrong with that pregnancy did. Like I had the diabetes that I didn't even know I had diabetes because they couldn't get me in like all the time. And so yeah, like I had diabetes and that's why he came out so big. And so we were fine, like after that, like, but she couldn't, my placenta with Nevaeh came out whole, but my placenta with Luciano came out in parts. So she kept like going back in there and it hurt so bad. And I was just bleeding so much. And she was like, we have to make sure that you don't have anything in there because then you're going to have to go into surgery. And she kept like pulling shit out. And I was like, oh my God. And there was like a piece stuck and she was like trying to get it out. And it was hurting so bad. And she's like, we can't leave it in there. Like, you have to take it out. But we were fine. Like, Juan stayed the night with me and my mom was here and my sister and brother met Luciano, and my dad met Luciano, and Juan's cousin met Luciano and his aunt. And like, I appreciate everybody that showed up at the hospital. Like, nobody understands how much that means to me. When Nevaeh had the anxiety attack with Luciano, he got stuck. So the chances of both of my babies were like to live were kind of hard because Nevaeh's umbilical cord was wrapped around her neck and Luciano was stuck. Like, I couldn't push him out, you know? Like, I was just thankful my mom was there in general. But yeah, I took him home after the third day. We had to stay there for an extra day. Oh, it was 2 days. For an extra day because I didn't get my I think it's called Group B. I didn't get my results back, so they had to keep him to make sure he didn't have it, so they kept me too. And then, so we took him home and my mom went back to California. I was home and like everybody was so happy to meet him. But I do want to thank you guys for watching and for choosing this pregnancy video. If you guys want to see the full version of Juan and me, and how we got to where we are today, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that bell so that you could get a notification every time I upload. And I do want to thank you guys for watching.